Well, listen, what a time to be alive. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Hello. Yep, it's Friday. I just typed the date. It's July 19th somehow. Tell you what, July is like going real fast and doing the most in the least amount of time. Tell you that, right? This week has been like, I don't even know. I don't even know. I don't even know. It's been a wild week. Look at my shirt looking crazy. Like some crazy stuff happened. Like obviously some crazy stuff happened like in the collective and continues too. But I just mean like in my little sphere, like this has been a real shakeup of a week. And I did make a TikTok about this the other day because it's such a bizarre feeling, but I do feel like even as crazy as everything is feeling and like unpredictable and wild, I just have this like feeling like, oh, it's everything's working out. Like finally things are going to start working out, and it just is such a wild thing to feel while like simultaneously watching what's happening, which is not shocking. It's just kind of what we thought was going to happen, but it is wild when it actually do. It's crazy. So anyway, we're almost through this month. This is the second to last weekend of July. We're rolling into full moon in Capricorn, I believe. Hmm? And I don't know. Let me tell you a little bit about some things because here's what I've noticed. Last week and Saturday, to be precise, I was sitting, like I told you, with Megan at a bar, and that's where we were when we heard about the pew pew ear situation, right? And it was one of those like really strange things because it just the reactions of everybody around us was bizarre. And then like that girl was sitting next to me who was also named Sarah, who's like really into astrology and like all the things. And ever since that day, it has felt very much like the most violent of timeline shifts I've felt in a while. Since like probably since July of 2021, actually. Mm. Ooh, since July of 2021. And I feel like I am not in the same life in some ways. Like everything looks pretty much the same, but things are different. I'll give you an example. My sister is like the opposite of me. Okay. She's like corporate America, very like logical spreadsheets, like not witchy at all kind of person, right? At all. Like I'm like that person in my family. Like you're probably that person in your family too, where everyone's like, okay, what? Um, but she moved over the weekend into a new house, and like she was in the house by herself doing some stuff. No one was there yet. And she like messaged me and was like, I'm connecting with the house and the house is connecting with me and it's receiving my energy and I'm telling it that I'm going to take care of it. And it's like feeling and it's telling me there might be a few things that I don't know yet, but like that we got each other. And I was like, what? Like who? Like that's what I do. You know what I mean? I was like, my sister? Then the other day, maybe like yesterday, the day before, who fucking knows? She was like, yeah, we were sitting around the table and I was talking to my husband and I made some like joke about um, the bugaboo, the boogaboo, I don't know, some like some scary thing. And he was like, oh, don't scare the house. And she was like, oh no, this house loves me. And as soon as she said that, the power surged in the house for like 3 seconds and went back. and her husband is now completely freaked out, and he's like just like doing stuff around the house, and he's like, I just want to make sure the house knows that I appreciate it and like doesn't get mad at me. And I'm like, okay. And this might seem like, okay, that's like a good story, Sarah, but like you don't understand how like out of character that is for my sister. Like it is completely like okay. Just like stuff like that is like I'm just like, okay, like we're here, but everyone's like acting different. And I'm just kind of like sitting back and being like, who else is a different version of themselves in this timeline? You know what I mean? Am I? Maybe. So, I mean, I have a bunch of snakes now, so that could be something, right? So, anyhow, I'm just letting you know, major timeline shift. You might already have realized that. So let's tap in. If you're new to Coffee Magic, welcome. I'm here on Fridays at 10 and Mondays at 9. Um, and since it is now nearing the end of July, keep saying I'm going to be sending out these emails. We have a little business to attend to. First of all, Normalized Magic Workshop, the sixth season, is going to be starting on the 8th of August. And I already have a list of people who want to be on that. But if you want to be on that list, you can go ahead and go to my website, sarahmala.com/subscribe, or you can just DM me for more information. We have a lot of OGs coming back, so I'm super excited to get started with you in this new timeline and kind of surf through there. This this season for Normalized Magic, you have a little bit more than you usually do included with your membership. I have a whole other section of the website that is devoted to meditations and sound healing, frequency shifts, and stuff like that. So you're going to have a library of um, narrated meditations that I will walk you through, and also just soundscapes and other stuff like that that I'll keep adding to throughout the year, but it's already populated at this time. So all of those I've created myself. So if you are interested in joining, that is something that will be included with your membership is the sound library. So I'm excited about that. Something that I used to do that I haven't done in a while is make guided meditations for people. I actually do them for my private clients, if we need them, right? Like if you want to connect with your animal or you want to kind of like move some things through your body or work on a specific issue, I would usually create a small meditation for you to do in between sessions to kind of help move that out. And as part of the Normalized Magic workshop membership, I will be taking requests and making those for you and adding them to the library. So that's a new thing that is included with your membership. So again, if you're interested in joining us, it's the best group of people ever. I'm so excited to get back with you guys. Just send me a DM or go to sarahmala.com/subscribe and you will be able to put your name on the list to get registration going. All right. So that's that. The other thing, if that's not feasible for you at this time and you want a little bit more, you can join the Coffee and Magic membership, which is $5.50 a week. And each week you will get your own private poll sent to your inbox to support your journey. So if you would like to do that, that's also on my website, sarahmala.com. So those are all of my updates for you. And now it's time to get down to this. I'm going to give you three things. You choose which of the three things feel most aligned with you this morning, and that will correspond with your card pull. This morning, we are going to do beverages, okay? Because that is all I am interested at all in consuming these days. I am having the worst time with eating. Everything is just boring. So, anyway, I'm going to give you three beverages. You choose the one that feels most aligned with you right now. Don't do that thing in your head where you're like, well, I don't want to choose that one because it's not healthy. Like, that's not what this is about. It's just to find your card pull. All right. So, the first one is a Mexican Coke. The second one is kombucha. And the third one is coffee. Okay. Mexican Coke, kombucha, and coffee. And the coffee is however you take your coffee, but just like regular. You know what I mean? Good morning. So, those are your three: Mexican Coke, kombucha, and coffee. And I have my kombucha this morning. Rowdy Mermaid. Caress, that sounds funny. Little Coke and coffee this morning. Listen, nothing slaps more than an ice cold Mexican Coke and some delicious tacos, like real good tacos. Like if you're here in this area, one of our favorite places, Masa, they have really good al pastor tacos. I mean, all of them are good, but like al pastor is my favorite. Um, but like with Mexican Coke, mm, yes. Okay. Anyway, sorry. Mexican Coke, kombucha, and coffee. Those are your 3 this morning. Good morning. Good morning. I know. We need the energy any way we can take it these days, I suppose. Also, I have my new snake is here in this enclosure right there. His name is Odin. He is absolutely sleeping right now. Everybody is sleeping at this time, but he's lovely and adorable. And Gloria ate again and is weird, and Jimmy's doing great in his new jungle enclosure, which is like right behind me. Here, here. Tell me when you're ready for Mexican Coke. 4 snakes and 1 gecko. No big deal. Every snake person I know has like 40 of them, so I'm like, this is no big deal. Once you get them like set up and everything, it's really easy to keep snakes. Like they don't do much, you know? It's no big deal. It's actually like, do you know how taking care of your plants is very meditative and like relaxing? I find the same thing with the snakes. It's like very meditative and relaxing to take care of them. This is your Mexican Coke. You have the dog, partnership, and the bee. They're all separate. They can't be housed together. So everybody has their own enclosures. Some of them are in a 4 by 2 by 2, and some of them are in a 3 by 2 by 2. All right. B, partnership, and dog. This is your Mexican Coke. Your choices this morning again: Mexican Coke, kombucha, and coffee. Wow, this is interesting. All right. So my Mexican Coke friends, the energy shift for you is, I want to say, extremely positive. However, there's a caveat, right? And it's the dog. The only thing you need to remember right now through this current pocket of energy that you're in is that you love yourself and you care about yourself and you're doing things that are for your best interest. Okay? It's it feels like that's the only thing you need to remember to keep pulling yourself back to center, if that makes sense. Like it's about you. You do deserve happiness. You do deserve abundance. You do like all of these things. Yes, yes. And it's like wake up in the morning and ask yourself what you can do for yourself. Like what you can do to make this day better for you. We are not trained to do that. We are trained to do that for others, especially us who have been raised as women, right? So it's one of those things where take that same care and bring it in. Take that same care and bring it in to this space. That's all you have to do. The partnership is twofold. It's a partnership with self, and also some of you may actually be starting partnerships with others, but this still feels like very much a self thing. And then the B is just here to remind you that it's all going to work out great. So it's a very like positive pull, right? It's reminding you to bring back that energy here. Bring it back here. Ask what you can do for you. because that's something you don't do enough, because maybe there was a time you did it and you were called selfish and you're like, "Oh no, right? I don't want to be selfish." Do it. Center your experience at this time. It is very, very important, and it's all going to work out. Okay, so that's good. Mexican Coke was delightful. Yvonne is saying you have to do a live about snakes for us, all of us curious folks. Can they all come out and be held at the same time? So right now I have two ball pythons, a Nicaraguan boa, and a reticulated python. I can hold them, like, they can come out and, like, they can be out of their enclosures around each other. Like, I haven't actually noticed them, like, I've had, like, Gloria and Jimmy out together, and they don't pay attention to each other at all. So they can be out at the same time, but their spaces, they're like solo creatures. So they want their own spaces, and if you put them both in the same enclosure, they would fight for like the good spots, like the hot spots, and it would just end up being like not good. So they really do need their own territory. That makes sense. But they're not aggressive at all, like not at all. So one of these days I'll do like Odin and Jimmy are very like social, and but it's just like everybody sleeps during the day. So it would have to be an eve. I can do an evening live and introduce you to everybody. All right. That was your Mexican Coke. Your next one is kombucha. Mexican Coke, kombucha, and coffee are your choices this morning. All right. Here we go. That was an interesting one. Did that resonate for my Mexican Coke friends? Mexican Coke. You know, so again, your choices this morning for your card pulls: Mexican Coke, kombucha, and coffee. And we just did Mexican Coke. So if you're feeling like, oh, I was Mexican Coke, um, you can watch the replay once I finish here. Otherwise, maybe you want to choose from kombucha or coffee, right? Because here comes your kombucha. Oh, interesting. Yvonne says, I tried to have a ball python when I was much younger. No direction, my snake kept smashing his face against the glass. You know, there's a few things that could cause that, but interestingly enough, ball pythons especially are super, super sensitive to their environment. And it seems like it's not until recently that people are realizing like the temperatures they need to be kept at, the humidity levels, and all of those different things, and like having enough hides and all of that. So it could be so many different reasons. They're also incredibly inbred, ball pythons. So they could also it could also have been an inner ear situation. All right, here is your kombucha. Are you ready? Dragon, Merlin, and Love. Now I know, I don't remember who it was, but in the private Coffee and Magic polls, one of you or two of you had these two dragons at least more than once. So if that's you, is it you, Julie? If it's you, just like this is an emphasis on that for your personal poll as well. Okay. Now let's get to it because this is a big one. We're having a big energy this week with your inside stuff. Okay. You have Love, Merlin, and the dragon. And this is actually two dragons because do you see that? It's the blue dragon and it's the red dragon. Merlin is also a dragon card. And these are like, you know, two sides of the coin, like hot and cold, fire and ice, like up and down, like, that kind of thing. These energies are coming in to really alchemize this new way of living that you are embarking on, which is anchored in that love based place as opposed to fear based. we have been talking about it for so long and like inching towards it and like making small adjustments to be in that space, making choices and asking ourselves, is this from a fear-based place or a love-based place and all that stuff. Now, this week, my kombucha friends, you are being exposed, or it is being revealed to you. Like, just imagine like whatever the word is that like it's like right in front of you now. The choice to make to really be in that love-based reality is this week. Like, you have a big choice to make, and it might not be visible to anybody outside. This is a choice you're making for yourself deep in here. That's like, this is now going to be my navigating force. And you are so supported in making that full switch. It's almost like we've been slowly moving towards more of a love-based reality, right? By making small choices, just kind of like crowding out the junk. You know what I mean? Like just a little bit here, a little bit there, like not too drastic. And this is the week where it's like, all right, you've had enough small steps. Now you can go all the way in. So what does that mean to you? What does it mean to go all in on a love-based reality? What are you releasing? And can you tap into the very, very strong energy that's connecting you right now to help you complete that transition? Okay? It's like, go. It's saying that. All right. So that was kombucha. Why are you shooketh? And this next one is your coffee. Such a bitch. All right. Here comes your coffee. Ooh, well, you're welcome. All right. Trust, partnership, grail night. All right. So this this pull is a little bit different than the other two polls for today, because while the other two polls were really, really focused on like an internal process, like you with you, this partnership card is not you with you, it's you with somebody else. And the reason this is coming up is because if you really gravitated toward coffee, I'm going to assume that you have already kind of been in this space of learning to love yourself in a new way. And it's not a new thing for you. You've been at that for like whatever amount of time is sufficient for you to really have created new patterns for yourself, right? So it's the equivalent of when people say like, oh, after you get out of a long relationship, like you should have a break and just like be with yourself, right? And like we're always like, yeah, such a great idea, and then I'm immediately in a new relationship. It's kind of like it's the theory behind that you've already done, and it doesn't mean you had to be single for X amount of time. That wasn't it. You've been in the internal process. It's not about the external. Okay. So you've been in this internal process of learning to treat yourself differently, love yourself differently, be a partner with yourself in a new way. You got it. Like, whatever, right? We got this. So, with that being said, my coffee friends, this next thing coming through is about how you now then interact with others, realizing that you are in a much more healed space with yourself. Okay. So it's kind of like the next step. And you're being asked to really trust this process. Do you know when people people have a really strong aversion to the idea of being hurt by other people? Agree? Like, I've been watching like trash reality TV this week because it's kind of like my therapy these days. And I've been watching Too Hot to Handle. And it's so crazy to me like how scared people are of being hurt by other people. Sorry, my phone. It's wild. It's like it's paralyzing and you miss out on so much because you're just so afraid of being hurt. When the thing you need to remember is the work you just did to like love yourself and be with yourself and like trust yourself. I want to say it gives you like an immunity card to being hurt, but doesn't it give you a different perspective about that whole idea? Like when I say this, sometimes like it freaks people out, but like I can honestly say at this point, like it's not that I don't care if I get broken up with, but I trust the process of my life and my choices. So it doesn't matter how long a relationship lasts to me. That's not the indicator. It's not the indicator to me of whether it was good or bad or right or wrong or any of those things, right? Being present in what the relationship is and knowing that you are being honest, that you are taking care of yourself, that you are in a space that feels healthy for you, it doesn't matter. So you know that no matter what these relationships unfold as, you can trust yourself. You can trust yourself to say, ooh, this isn't working for me. We need to make an adjustment. Or, ooh, this feels like it's not aligned anymore and it's time for us to part ways. You can trust yourself in those spaces now. A lot of us are healing from being in very long term narcissistic relationships. And the more time goes by, the more like we realize how many of us have that programmed in, be it a romantic relationship, a parental relationship, like it's a lot, right? There's a lot of that space. And as you're healing from that, one of the big things that keeps coming up is this not trusting of yourself because you've been conditioned in your brain not to, right? You couldn't trust yourself because you've been had someone in your life telling you that you can't trust yourself and you just like you're just all turned around. So the healing here is learning to trust yourself. But I just want you to remember that like it's okay to get hurt sometimes. Like it's okay. Like sometimes things don't work out. Sometimes they do. And what is the metric in your brain that you think working out means? Because if you think something isn't good unless it lasts forever, I have really got news for you, friend, right? Like, then nothing is good because nothing lasts forever except your relationship with yourself. Okay. Your relationship with yourself is the only one that's going to last forever. Everything else is bringing it in and taking it out, bringing it in and taking it out. So, can you trust that? Can you just jump in and just like lighten up and have a good time, right? And trust that the healing you've done up until this point will be serving you, right? Trust that the tools you have collected will be serving you. And if there is a red flag, listen, babes, we are good at that now. I promise you. And if you have a moment where you falter and you don't see it, I am sure you have people in your corner who are going to be like, hey, yeah, like, you see it? You know what I mean? It's okay. So, anyway, that is your coffee for this morning. Coffee and magic for this morning. Um, I hope you have a really good weekend. I hope you have a really good weekend. Um, be careful of your energy and what you're consuming. Remember everything we have ever talked about. This is the transition time. This is moving over into fear based or love based, and a lot of people are in the fear-based right now, but you don't have to be. You don't have to be. I'm sending you lots of love. I will see you on Monday at 9. And again, if you'd like to leave a donation, you can do that by going to the link in my bio on TikTok or Instagram. And I will be sending out registration for the next round of Normalized Magic today. Okay? Love you guys. Mwah!